There are two things. For loans, we pay interest. For loans, we pay which one? Interest. Okay. For loans, debentures, bonds, deposits, we pay which one? Interest. Interest is called as charge against profit. Charge against profit. What is charge against profit? Compulsory. What do you mean by compulsory? Sir, whether you are having a profit or loss doesn't matter. Sir, this year I am having profit. Whether I have to pay? Yes. Next year I am having a loss. Should I have to pay? Yes. Profit or loss doesn't matter. Interest is compulsory. What is compulsory? Interest is compulsory. Sir, how will I pay if there is no profit? No, that is your problem. When you borrow money, you must pay interest. So all these things are called as which money? Borrowed money or owner's money? Borrowings. They are called as borrowings. It can be short-term or long-term borrowings. Okay. What about shareholders' money? We have got preference share capital. And which one? Equity share capital. So dividend will be paid to the preference shareholders. And of course, dividend will be paid to equity shareholders also. First, we will pay the preference shareholders. Next, we will pay which one? Equity shareholders. Dividends are called as appropriation of profit. Appropriation of profit. What is appropriation of profit? If there is a profit only, dividend becomes what? Payable. Either current year profit should be there or past year profit should be there. You cannot pay dividend out of capital. Can you distribute share capital in the form of dividend? No. Either current year profit is there, you pay dividend out of that. Or past 4 or 5 years, you've got accumulated profit, you can pay dividend out of that. But you cannot use what? Capital as for payment of which one? Dividend. Okay, so this is known as which one? Appropriation of profit. If there is a profit only, it will be paid. It is dividend is paid out of what? Profits or reserves only. Okay, so it's not compulsory to pay dividend. Only when there is a profit, you have to pay what? A dividend. Now, there are two types of dividend we have seen. One is called as interim dividend. What is interim dividend? Board of directors are empowered to declare and pay dividend before the end of financial year. Before 31st March, before closing the books of accounts, the board of directors see a very good profit. They have the power to what? Declare and pay the dividend. Who gives the power? Articles of Association. In the Articles of Association, you will have what? Power to whom? Board of directors to declare and pay the dividend. That is called as which dividend? Interim dividend. It's interim dividend. Very simple. While preparing final accounts, what do we do? In the balance sheet. In the balance sheet, what do we do? Adjust with which one? Reserves and surplus. This is for preparing accounts. This is for preparing final accounts. What about proposed dividend? What about proposed dividend? As per Companies Act, it is given as which one? Notes to accounts. Notes to accounts. It is not an adjusting item. For preparing balance sheet or P&L account, it is not an adjusting item. It is just given as which one? Notes to accounts means disclosure. We just give a disclosure. We don't adjust in P&L account or balance sheet. We just give it as which one? Notes to accounts. These two things we had seen. Okay. Now we are going to see, sir, current for the past 4 or 5 years we are earning good profit. We were earning good profit. Current year there is no profit available. There is no profit available. Current year there is a small loss. Our profits are not sufficient to pay the dividend. Can we pay dividend? We have got accumulated profits. Huge profits are there. Current year alone, some losses are there. Can you pay dividend? You can pay dividend. How to pay dividend, we are going to see. If profits are not sufficient, or if there is a loss in which year? Current year, then dividend can be paid out of what? Accumulated profits. Dividend can be paid out of accumulated profit means reserves and surplus. The company law uses the word free reserves. You can pay out of which one? Free reserves. Any reserve which is not restricted, that you can take it and pay it. Section 123 of Companies Act deals with it. Section 123 of Companies Act 2013 deals with how to pay dividend out of which one? Past accumulated profits. We'll see the rules. Now I request you to take up to this, then we'll proceed. You cannot pay as much as you want. There are restrictions. We are going to see the restrictions on usage of past profits. You cannot declare as much as you want, but there are restrictions. We are going to see the restrictions. Take up this, then we'll proceed. What are the conditions? The dividend paid should not exceed what? 3 years average, or you can say dividend rate. Dividend rate should not exceed what? 3 years average during the 3 financial years. See the last 3 years average. If it is 15%, this year you cannot pay more than 15%. The amount utilized should not exceed what? 1/10. 1/10 means 10%. You can use only what? 1/10 of paid up capital and reserves maximum. For solving problem, these are the 3 main conditions that you have to look into. I'll explain every condition. Copy this. I'll explain every condition. Wait pannunga. If profits are sufficiently available in the current year, no problem. These conditions are applicable only when you pay out of which one? Accumulated profits. Sir, current year a huge profit is available. Can I pay 50% dividend? 80% dividend? Yes, you can pay as much as you want. These conditions are applicable when profits are not there in the current year, are not adequate in the current year, or if there is a loss. Only when you use past reserves, these conditions are applicable. Dividend rate not to exceed 3 years average. What do you mean by that? See the last 3 years average. If average dividend was 14%, don't pay more than 14%. The amount utilized from past reserves should not exceed what? 1/10th of paid up capital and reserves. See the paid up capital and reserves, maximum use can use what? 1/10th. 1/10th means 10%. The balance when free reserves after the payment of dividend should not be below what? 15% of capital. The balance only of free reserves, that should not be below what? 15% after the payment of dividend. We'll see. We'll apply in a question and we'll see whether the dividend is payable or not. Now what I request is leave around 4 more lines of gap, 4-5 lines of gap. Additional conditions I'll come to it later. For solving problem, we'll see only the 3 things. For solving the problem, we'll check only how many conditions. For solving the problem, only 3 conditions we'll check. Leave around 4 more lines of gap. In your material, come to question number. Which question number we have done earlier? 11. Huh? Come to question number 12. Come to question number 12. Take up the conditions, then come to question number 12. Read through question number 12. Look at this. Due to inadequacy of profits during the year ending 31st March 2022, they proposed to declare a dividend of what? 10% out of which one? General reserve. So they are using general reserve to declare the dividend. Ascertain the amount that can be used from what? General reserve according to company's declaration rules of 2014 kuduthirukanga. We have got preference share capital, equity share capital, general reserve, capital reserve, then which one? Revaluation reserves are given. Average rate of dividend declared during the last 3 years has been how much percentage? 12% கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. 12% கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Can you pay dividend out of capital reserve? No, it is not a free reserve. Capital reserve cannot be used. Revaluation reserve is created out of which profit? Realized profit or unrealized profit? Unrealized profit, that cannot be used. That cannot be used. The company wants to, what is the net profit of the current year? 3 lakhs is the net profit for the current year. And the company wants to declare how much percentage dividend? 10%, na? 80 lakhs into 10%. 80 lakhs into paid up capital into 10%. They want to declare. But profit is available only to the extent of what? 3 lakhs. 80 lakhs into 10% dividend. Now, how much dividend you have to pay? 8 lakhs of dividend you have to pay, but amount available is only what? 3 lakhs. Amount available is only 3 lakhs. And please remember, before paying dividend to equity shareholders, first you have to pay dividend to whom? Preference shareholders. You have to pay dividend to preference shareholders. First, let us do the basic working and let us come back to it. Dividend on shares. First to preference shareholders. Preference shareholders எவ்வளவு இருக்காங்க பாருங்க. 17,50,000 into how much you have to pay? 17,50,000 into 9%. 17,50,000. Please take it up along with me. No need to wait. Into 9%. Next, to equity shareholders. Equity shareholders எவ்வளவு இருக்காங்க? 80 lakhs into we want to pay how much percentage? 10%, na 8 lakhs. So what is the total dividend declared? This is the total dividend declared. Okay. What is the current year net profit? Three lakhs. So balance to be taken out of past profits. That is out of general reserve. So we want to use this much from general reserve. This is what the company wants to do. Let us apply and check the conditions. Hope we left sufficient gap. Or 4 lines of gap for some more theory, or should have left a gap. I'll come to it. Let me apply one by one the condition. What is the first condition? Dividend rate not to exceed what? 3 years average. Look at the question. What is the 3 years average given in the question? 12%. Okay, dividend declared is 10%. So the condition is satisfied. What do you mean by satisfied? You have not violated the condition is fulfilled. Not exceeded the 3 years average. 3 years average dividend is 12%. Current dividend declared is what? 10%. Na? Yes. The condition is satisfied. Means you can pay. No violation. First condition is satisfied. What is the second condition? The amount utilized should not exceed what? 1/10 of paid up capital and which one? Free reserves. So 1/10 means 10% of paid up capital and free reserves. In the question, like 10% of what is the paid up capital? Preference share capital 17,50,000 plus equity share capital. How much is there? 80 lakhs plus free reserves. Free reserves in general reserve 25 lakhs. The amount utilized cannot exceed this amount. 10% of this amount maximum you can use. Actual taken is only 6,57,500. Maximum that can be taken is this amount. But actual taken is only what? 6,57,500. Is it satisfied or not satisfied? Satisfied. Clear? Sir, you can use 10% of paid up capital and free reserves. 10% of paid up capital and free reserves. Maximum use pannalam. 12,25,000 we can use. But we actually use only 6,57,500. Is there a problem? No. Yes. Within the limit. Satisfied no solla, otherwise it is within the limit. Third one, the balance in free reserves should not fall below what? 15% of paid up capital. What is the general reserve? before dividend 25 lakhs. Listen to it, 2 minutes, then you can take it up. How much is used for dividend? How much is used for dividend? 6 lakhs 57,500. What is the balance in general reserve after dividend? 25 lakhs minus this one. This is the balance in general reserve after the dividend. Okay, the balance in general reserve after the payment of dividend should not fall below what? 15% of paid up capital கொடுத்திருக்கான். Okay, so balance required after dividend is எவ்வளோ percentage? 15% of paid up capital. What is 15% of paid up capital? 17,50,000 plus 80 lakhs. This into எவ்வளோ percentage? 15% required. After the payment of dividend இது நம்மளுக்கு மெயின்டைன் பண்ணணும். எவ்வளோ இருக்கும் பாருங்க. 14,62,500 80 lakhs. 17,50,000 plus 80 lakhs into 15%. What is required? 14,62,500 required, sir. Okay. But how much is available? 18,42,500. Otherwise, pay attention. The balance in general reserve required is 14,62,500. Balance in general reserve after dividend is 18,42,500. Is it satisfied or not? Satisfied. I repeat. Dividend rate should not exceed what? 3 years average. What is the 3 years average given in the question? 12%. Dividend declared is 10%. So not exceeded 12% are satisfied. The amount utilized should not exceed 1/10 means 10% of paid up capital and reserves. 10% of paid up capital and reserves into 1/10 போட்டு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா we can use how much? 12,25,000 we can use. But actually we are using 6,57,500. So are we using within the limit? Yes. The balance in free reserves after the payment of dividend pay பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறமா what is the balance required? 15% of paid up capital. எவ்வளோ required? 14,62,500 இருந்தா போதும். After payment of dividend. Look at the actual usage. Before dividend 25 lakhs. We use for dividend 6,57,500. What is actual balance? What is the actual balance after dividend? Actual balance in general reserve after dividend. How much is there? 18,42,500 இருக்கு. Minimum எவ்வளோ வேணும்? 14,62,500. Actual balance is more. So whether this condition is satisfied or violated? Satisfied. So since all the three conditions are satisfied, what is the comment you will write? Since all the three conditions are satisfied, the directors shall pay 10% of dividend to whom? Equity shareholders. That is a final comment you would write. I repeat, 3 conditions for solving the problem. What are the 3 conditions? Don't exceed or don't pay more than 3 years average. What is the 3 years average? 12%. We are paying only 10%. Maximum how much you can use? 10% of paid up capital and reserves. Equity plus preference plus reserves into 10% quota. We can use 12,25,000, but we are using only what? 6,57,500. So that is also satisfied. Third, the reduction, that is the balance required after the reserve or payment of dividend is how much? 14,62,500. Actual balance is more. We have got 25 lakhs. We are using only how much? 6,57,500 தான் யூஸ் பண்றோம். Actual balance in general reserve after dividend is more than the required balance. So this condition also satisfied. Since all the 3 conditions are satisfied, the company can declare dividend at the rate of how much percentage? 10% to equity shareholders. Some more conditions are there that will not affect solving the problem. I will come to it later. Take up this. So in the question, how much we are going to use for declaring dividend? 6,57,500 we are going to use out of general reserve. So 9,57,500 total dividend pay panna porom. Out of current year profit, we are going to pay how much? 3 lakhs. Out of general reserve, we are going to pay 6,57,500. Any doubt in applying the first condition? Second, the amount used cannot exceed what? 10% of paid up capital and reserves. So we can use this much, but actual amount is only this much. We can use 6,57,500. After the payment of dividend, we want a minimum balance of 15% of paid up capital, but actual balance after the payment of dividend is more than that. So that condition also satisfied. Since all the three conditions are satisfied, we can pay what? The dividend to shareholders. Take up additional points to be noted. This is only for theoretical purpose, not for solving questions. Okay. Additional points to be noted. Free reserves should be taken after adjusting or setting up losses, if any. Okay, if there is a current year loss, you have to adjust that loss and take it. In this question, current year loss irka, profit irka. In this question, there is a current year net profit given. Suppose if there is a net loss, you have to adjust that loss and take it. Free reserves should be taken what? After adjusting of losses. All current year and arrears of depreciation, if any, should be adjusted with free reserves before providing such dividend. Clear? Suppose if you have not provided depreciation for the asset, it can be current year or past year. Ensure that you are providing depreciation, then you declare the dividend. Then you declare the dividend. Dividend cannot be paid if the company has financial defaults. For example, you have not repaid loans. You have not repaid what? Interest. Without paying interest on loans, how can you pay dividend? For example, you borrowed money. You have not repaid loans on time. Due dates is there. Before the due, on the due date you have not paid, delayed it. You have not paid interest. Without paying the loans and dues and interest, how can you pay dividend? So dividend cannot be paid if the company has what? Financial default, such as which one? Repayment of loans, or which one? Interest. Interest. You cannot distribute capital as dividend. You cannot distribute dividend as, that is capital as dividend. You can pay it only out of which one? Reserves.